Hey guys, mahal everyone, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here. Welcome to my YouTube channel, this time with a video on Dissidia, Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the next character event coming to Global, which is going to be featuring the Warrior of Darkness, Leonhart, from Final Fantasy II. Now, for those of you who might be unfamiliar with who this character is, he is from the original Final Fantasy II that was originally released on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the old school NES. He was friends, or he is good friends with Maria, Firion, and Guy, but towards the game, he was converted over to the side of evil, but then later on he rejoins you on the side of good. A little bit of a spoiler there for those of you that haven't played Final Fantasy II, but I'm just giving that little bit of a history lesson on the character because I know not everybody has played the original Final Fantasy II, might be wondering who is this character. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the details for this event. So he arrives to Global. FF2's Dark Knight is going to be boasting high HP and attack, and his affiliation is with the Dark Crystals, rightfully so, since he is going to be a Dark Knight. You can earn 1 copy of his 15 CP Ancient Sword and 2 copies of his 35 CP Golden Shield through this event. And don't forget, his Golden Shield is going to be available in the Armor Token shop for purchase as well. And for synergy, we have Snow and Firion joining him to fight against a Tiamat variant boss known as a Celestial. So let's take a look at Leonhart's abilities, with the first one being called Dark Slash. This is going to be a 2-hit Dark Melee Brave plus HP attack that also grants Leon the unique buff called Dark Knight for 5 turns when the target is hit. Now, Dark Knight does have a stacking mechanic, and the stacks are determined by the Brave amount used to deal the HP damage. So if it's 75% or less max Brave, it gives him 1 stack of Dark Knight. If it's between 75% and 100% of his max Brave, it grants him 2 stacks, and if it's more than 100% max Brave, it grants him 3 stacks. And keep in mind that 3 stacks is the maximum amount of Dark Knight that you can have. And this unique buff increases Leon's attack and max Brave based on the number of stacks. So as you can see, just based on this ability alone, he is a very highly offensive character. Now we're going to take a look at his second ability, which is called Dark Bind. Dark Bind is going to be a 1-hit Dark Magic AoE Brave plus HP attack, so now he has an option to be able to deal AoE damage to multiple targets. The HP damage, unfortunately though, is divided rather than it being splash. Kind of hurts this ability a bit, but at least, hey, he still has the option to be able to deal this sort of damage to multiple targets. Now, it also does heal his HP based on damage dealt up to 15% of his max HP. So now he also has the ability to sustain himself, which is pretty cool. It also grants a medium chance to inflict sap for 5 turns, which is a pretty cool debuff that he can inflict. So that is going to be his ability too. Now let's take a look at his crystal passive. So first we have C level 5 Dark Slash power. You want this, so then that way that ability deals more damage. At 10, he gets critical power. It increases the brave damage dealt by critical hits. This one I feel is optional. Generally, most characters, even if they are highly offensive, this is one that you might want to pass on. At C level 15 is attack proficiency. He raises his attack up to 10 times after using a brave attacker ability. This is very good and very important to have on him, so then that way he's continuously increasing the amount of damage he deals. At 25, Dark Bind power. You're going to want that to increase the damage dealt by Dark Bind. At 30, he has heal attack up, which increases his attack up by 1 turn after HP recovery. And for a CP cost of 5, think about it this way. If you have a character that has HP regen that provides it to the entire party, or some sort of healing ability, regen works the best. Essentially, Leon has this permanently if you have this passive equipped, and he has the HP regen active. Now, C level 35, he gets Dark Slash charge. Any type of charge passive which increases the usage of an ability, you're going to obviously want that in the character. Imperial Subject coming from his level 40. So whenever he recovers HP, if that amount exceeds his max HP, it converts to Brave, but it's limited to 150% of his initial Brave. That's pretty good. So then that way, if he excessively heals himself, he's at least giving some of it back to his Brave. At 45, again, another charge. You're going to want that for that ability, Dark Bind charge. At 50, is going to be Proof of Power. So let's take a look at this. Raises initial Brave, max Brave, attack and defense, as long as you have that unique buff Dark Knight active. So If you have that active, he becomes even more of a powerhouse. So that's amazing that he gets all of those increases to those 4 statistics with, as long as you have his unique buff active, which you will have it active if you're playing this character. At 54, he gets Speed Dark Knight. He gets a speed up as long as you have the unique buff Dark Knight active. Leon himself is a little bit slow, so this is actually pretty good to have on him. And then the last few passes we're going to take a look at is Dark/Extend at 55. It increases the brave damage potency of the ability. There's also now 50% splash damage dealt to other targets. So now both of his abilities can deal AoE HP damage, but now Dark Slash has 50% slash, which is better than the divided damage for Dark Bind. The CP cost of this is going to be 15. At 58, he gets Dark Knight attack boost up, so he gets an increase to his max brave and attack as long as he has Dark Knight active. Again, amazing. I like that they give that to him, so that way he's continuously dealing more and more damage. And then at 60, he gets Dark Bind Extend, increases the brave damage potency, increases the HP recovery based on the HP damage he deals. Excess HP is now evenly distributed to allies, up to 10% of that ally's max HP. So now he has the ability to also heal the entire party with Dark Bind. And this also changes his Brave Attack to Brave Attack Plus, depending if you have his Dark Knight unique buff active, and this is going to be a 2-hit melee Brave Attack. So overall, pretty good passives, with only a few being not so good, but for the most part he has really amazing passives, which helps him out a lot. Now we're going to take a look at his artifact passive. So Brave Guard up, any type of defense increase at this point right now, you kind of want to bypass it because defense is not a very important stat. Proof of Power boost, yeah, you're gonna want that. That's an amazing crystal passive for him, so you want those effects to be boosted up further. Mighty Dark Slash and Mighty Dark Bind, they respectively increase the brave damage potency for these abilities. You could opt to have this, although because Leon is already giving himself so much attack from not only his passives and all his auras, I feel like these are a pass. But hey, if you roll them, they're not bad. So the top priority passes for Leonhart is going to be Proof of Power 2-star, Attack plus 108 for more damage, and then Max Brave plus 330 for more HP damage dealt. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the banner that is going to be coming out, which is going to be featuring weapons for Leonhart, Firion, and Snow. So we're going to look at the new weapons that's going to come out, because we already know that there's going to be some repeated weapons on this banner, which is going to be in the form of Firion's 15 CP and 35 CP, and also Snow's 15 CP or 35 CP. But the new weapon that we're going to look at is Ancient Sword first, which is Leon's 15 CP. So he gets a brave damage potency increase for his Dark Slash. It also grants him a small attack up now for 5 turns, which further increases his damage output. His 35 CP Sleep Sword will also be available. This gives him a brave damage potency increase for this ability Dark Bind. The HP recovery is further increased. The brave damage potency increase is also increased against a single target. So now if he uses ability on a single target, it deals even more damage. And then the success rate of inflicting that sap debuff is going to be increased. And then this time, this also grants him the unique buff Dark Knight for 5 turns if Dark Bind hits. So before, if you didn't have this passive, you can only acquire Dark Knight after using his Dark Slash. But now with this passive, you can even get it as well with Dark Bind. So that's pretty good. Now the EX weapon featured on this is going to be the Sunblade for Firion. I did cover this weapon a little bit more in depth in a previous X Factor video, so be sure to check out the playlist for the X Factor video series. You'll find Firion's weapon review there. But essentially this equips the EX ability called Master of Arms, which is a 3-hit AoE Brave plus HP attack that deals 100% HP damage to all targets. It's not split, it's not splash, it's just straight up 100%. It also turns to Master of Arms Plus when Firion's HP is 80% or greater of his max HP. So that is a little bit of the details there on the Sunblade. Overall, the banner is pretty good. The best weapons that you're going to want to go for is Leon's 35. I feel like that weapon is most important for him to have. So then that way you're getting that Dark Knight unique buff from both of his abilities. And then obviously Firion gets a lot better with the Sunblade. Now, should you pull on the banner, it's really entirely up to you. Leonhart is kind of an unknown character Final Fantasy lore, so I can see why some of you guys might want to skip on him, because not many people really care for the character, because he is in a earlier Final Fantasy game that, you know, wasn't as popular as the other ones. But overall, the banner is not bad, and Snow with his level 60 awakening, I feel like he's actually a pretty underrated tank. He's actually performing really well if you set him up with the right party. So if you missed out on Snow's gear, this is the opportunity to get it. But overall, it's a pretty decent banner. If you want to pull for it, go for it. If you don't, save up your gems, because we are going to be getting some other characters later on that are even better. All right, let's take a look at the details for the boss. So we're gonna be fighting against the Celestial, which is a Tiamat type enemy. This boss is weak to ice and dark. The chase HP is a little bit higher. It's not at 40, but it's at 50. There's gonna be, if you're gonna be calculating the chase HP to initiate the launch, it's gonna be a little bit more, just giving you guys a heads up. This boss is also immune to 3 different debuffs, so you cannot HP attack silence it, you cannot blind it, and you cannot decrease its speed. So you want to keep that in mind. It also uses plenty of HP attacks, not only to a single target, but to the entire party. So having a healer is very important to help mitigate that. Now, it can also reduce everyone's brave by 60% and paralyze them with Thunderbolt, which can be massively destructive to your party. So you want to watch out for that. And it can also inflict poison to all with Poison Mist. So maybe having a character like Selphie, because her wall gives you the chance to resist debuffs, would help a lot. Or maybe even bringing like Yuna, so then that way she can remove the debuffs with Esuna. But then again, paralysis is probably the most problematic one here, because if you're paralyzed, can't really do much. And then he can also remove buffs from a target and can also recover itself from break and restore its own brave with its abilities. And then it also has a technique called Charge, which grants it several buffs, and it also removes all debuffs inflicted on it at the same time. So want to watch out for that. The boss is also a bit tanky. It has a lot of HP, and it also has fairly high defense, so want to keep that in mind as well. So some final thoughts and tips before we move on to the gameplay showcase coming from my JP account is, if you decide to build up Leonhart, have those dark crystals ready, so then that way you can unlock as many crystal passes for him. Furion and Snow definitely help out with this one. Furion can also sustain himself, and so can Snow if you have all the passives. And also Snow has the ice element, which the Celestial is weak to, and he can taunt and resist the amount of brave damage he receives with his abilities. So Snow is actually pretty good for this fight, especially because he's synergy. So be sure to take him along if you haven't built up. If you decide not to go with the synergy, bring a healer. So you can bring in like Kate Sith, you can bring in like Selphie, or even Aerith, so then that way you're dealing with a host of HP attacks that this boss inflicts. And then for summon, Bahamut Shiva, Diaboros, and Ifrit are great. I know the boss is not weak to fire, but because it's just neutral to it, at least the attack increase could potentially help. Just keep in mind though, if you're taking a lot of HP damage, you're going to be missing out on the blessing with Ifrit. So if you're going to use Ifrit, bring a healer, but then you can also bring the other 3. Bahamut's probably the easiest to use. He's the best summon right now in the game, I feel like. Or you can even go with Brothers for that max brave increase, but it's entirely up to you which summon that you want to bring. Alright guys, well this is going to be it to end the discussion for the upcoming Leonhart character event for Global. Let's go ahead and move forward now to my JP account. I'm going to be showcasing one of the Lost Chapter stages for Leonhart. That way you guys have a visual showcase for the upcoming character event for Global. Let's go ahead and move on to that. Alrighty guys, here we are with the gameplay showcase coming from my JP account. I'm actually going to be tackling the level 80 Lost Chapters for Leonhart for the visual showcase, only because the level 100 is actually a bit tough, and the character event that we're going to be getting, the version that we're going to be getting for Global soon, is not going to be nearly that difficult. So I'm going to be doing the level 80. It's probably the closest representation that we're likely going to see. I'm going to be taking Leonhart. Something about Leonhart now in JP is that he has a rework, and he also has a level 70. He did get an EX weapon, which I unfortunately failed to get, so sorry I cannot show that off, but we know that this character is going to get better, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to be going with a darkness themed team for this showcase, so we're going to take Golbez, who is a character we have yet to see in the global version of the game, and then I'm going to take Dark Knight Cecil, who actually recently also got a rework as well, so you guys get to see all of 3 of these characters in action, which is going to be pretty cool. We're going to take a Cloud Friend. Hopefully I don't have to summon him. I don't think I will, but let's go ahead and do this Lost Chapters to showcase the upcoming Leon event for Global. And I'm going to be taking Shiva because we know that the boss is weak to ice and dark. Alright, let's take a look at the new darkness from Dark Knight Cecil. Yeah, so he hits everybody and deals HP damage. Pretty cool, right? Here's Leon's Dark Slash. And as you can see, we got his unique buff, which is Dark Knight. It can now go up to 5. It can now, actually no, it goes up to 3 stacks still. But he gets another buff with it. be... Here we go. So here's the boss. So it's going to be against the Celestial. Now, because we're doing the level 80 Lost Chapters version, it's also accompanied by the Tiamat itself. But remember, it is the blue one that we're going to be up against for the actual character event. Okay. Remember, the things you want to watch out for from the Celestial is that it uses a lot of HP attacks. It can also paralyze, it can also poison, it can recover itself from break. So keep that in mind. So you're going to want like a pretty good healer to be able to deal with all the damage that it does. Such as that. That was a lot of damage right there. Golbez is EX. Definitely looking forward to Global getting Golbez as a character. And then let's go ahead and do Valiant Blow here. Alrighty, well that is going to be it for the visual gameplay showcase for the upcoming Leonhart event that's going to be hitting global soon. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for showing a lot of support to my channel. It's a lot of fun for me to make all these videos. If you have any video suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I always do. I like to read the comment section and see what you guys think and also get ideas from you guys too. But thank you guys again for all the support. Once again, this is 40 the Broadway Saiyan. Stay tuned for the next one, and mahal, guys.